Hi, I'm Danielle Allen, Executive Director of Philadelphia 250. In 2026, the country will commemorate the 250th anniversary of American independence. So I invite you to listen in and get inspired to take action as Philadelphia 250 brings together thought leaders and changemakers to share what those founding promises mean to them now and in the pursuit to 2026.
In 2006, I was wrongfully arrested of a murder I did not commit. I represented myself and overturned the life sentence. I now work for the Philadelphia or the Defenders Association.
I'm Danielle Allen. I'm the James Bryant Conant University Professor at Harvard. I'm a political philosopher, historian of political thought. I am a fighter for justice reform. I run the Democratic Knowledge Bennett. Project, which is currently designing and refining a year-long grade 8 civic education curriculum. Well, the second sentence of the Declaration of Independence is the all-important sentence. It's the famous self-evident truth sentence. It's much longer than most people realize. It's got 5 clauses. There are 5 different self-evident truths linked to one another. One of those truths is that we're all endowed by our Creator with certain unalienable rights, and that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. I lay stress on that phrase, among these. It's such an important phrase. With it, what's being said there is that, here, we've all got rights. Creator's given us some rights. Let's give you some examples so you know what we mean. Among these, it's not a complete list, all right? It's just sort of, here's a starter set for you to think about what rights are about, what the concept is. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. By saying among these, the authors of the Declaration are also giving us an invitation to further thought. What else belongs on that list? I always ask people the question, for instance, does health belong on the list? It's a set of examples, and so it's an encouragement to us to think about what rights we fundamentally think our government ought to be securing.
To piggyback off of Danielle, I think the forefathers were forward-thinking in writing the Declaration of Independence. And you can tell from, as she said, the example among these, but you also look at the last part when it says alteration of government, abolishing certain governments. So this isn't though this is the founding document, it isn't the end all be all of all documents. We want you to elevate, we want you to progress. The founding fathers drew the document in light of the progress of the country. So you have some people that want the government to be ran strictly by the Constitution and strictly by the rights granted in the Declaration of Independence. When our forefathers understood that time will progress, we will all mature. It comes with life, everything matures. Maturity, nothing stays the same. So when we look at this document and the founding documents of the country, and people say it doesn't apply to us, once again, you have to look into the maturity of the country. During that time, African Americans were slaves. After slavery, it was equal rights, the civil rights era. So it's all about maturity. It's all about maturing as a country. Things that are bad or rights that appear to be violated, or we may find out that more rights need to be in print later on. The Constitution doesn't prevent that.
The other thing I think is really important to add to that is there were many voices participating in 1776. There were voices in 1776 who were already arguing against slavery. And in fact, the first people to use the text of the Declaration of Independence for purposes other than independence itself were abolitionists. Most importantly, a free African American in Boston in January of 1777 drew on that important second sentence of the Declaration about self-evident truths to put a petition to the Massachusetts Assembly for the end of enslavement. And indeed, by 1780, 81, 82, 83, Massachusetts, Vermont, Pennsylvania had all passed abolition of enslavement, had passed emancipation. So already in 1776, abolitionism is crystallizing, and the Declaration of Independence actually helped do that. The fact that the core original rights, that starter set, the set of examples, are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness is all important. They chose not to say life, liberty, and property. Already by May and June and July of 1776, property had been connected to a defense of slavery. So in leaving property out of the Declaration, they were actually making space for abolitionism to come in. So Thomas Jefferson was just one of many authors of the Declaration. People called on his eloquence in drafting the Declaration, but the ideas of the Declaration were a group product. And John Adams, who did not own slaves, and Benjamin Franklin, who transitioned from being an enslaver to supporting abolition, those were two of the most important voices in drafting the Declaration of Independence, and it was immediately used by abolitionists.
To me, those words mean you're never down and out. Even at your worst, the Declaration of Independence tells you that you can climb above it. You can surpass your current circumstance. The pursuit of happiness, it just defines a fight for something greater. So when I look at that, being locked up in prison and having a life sentence, it's not over. It's not over. Having the willpower to overcome your burdens, to overcome any adversity, to obtain the goal that you desire.
I think I would echo what Hassan said. They mean to me a constant urgency to understanding one's circumstances, to putting one's mind and heart to the question of how one's own life and the life of one's community can be improved. It means gathering people with you and to you, finding allies and alliances and partnerships and networks of people who can share common purpose, commit themselves to justice, liberty and justice for all, freedom and equality. People who are willing to participate as free and equal participants in a process of working together for better life in one's community and for oneself.
The pursuit of happiness matters to me because it's change. It's not only change in the country, but it's also change in oneself. It's maturity. It's growing towards something better. And as long as we all look forward to something better, look forward to a better country, look forward to be a better human, look forward to be a better friend, family member, then I believe this country will one day be a great country.
The pursuit of happiness matters to me because it is a call for self-governance, self-government, and self-creation. And that is the origin of all true human flourishing.
Thank you.
Onward.
I was totally impressed. I was impressed to a different magnitude by your interpretation and your yes.
Well, your words are so powerful and your journey is so incredible. So my thanks to you from the bottom of my heart for the path you've traveled and the way you're showing it to others, the light you're bringing to everybody. Thank you.